Hello, everyone. I'm Rebecca Lombardo, fractional CMO. Today I'm here with Orlie from Lasoh. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Rebecca. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining Vendor Vibes. I'm looking forward to asking you about your company. So what does your company do?
So, Lasso is a software company that enables operators of vacation rentals to own their book of business and drive more revenue through guest relationships. I would describe it as the industry's first guest management system. So, basically, we're all using PMS software right now, right? It has our pricing, it has our inventory, it has our photos, but the real view of the guest is missing. And in other industries that I've worked in, that's a really critical part of driving more revenue as well as having great business insights. And so that's what Lasso is doing, introducing the ability to drive more money through guest relationships.
Would you say that that's what really makes your company unique?
I think so. I think from what I've learned about the industry so far, it seems like there are a lot of solutions that play in some aspect of this space, but most of them are either on the guest experience side or they're on the marketing tech side, but none of them are blending the two things together. And from my perspective, a great experience results in the ability to do very good marketing. And so blending those two things together, I think is important because the guest views a company as a single thing, regardless of which person in the department or in the company is engaging with them. And so I think enabling a business to engage with the guest in their journey is really important. And from what I can tell so far, there's not really anyone who's doing that.
I think you're right. I've interviewed a lot of companies in this space, and nobody's answer has been quite like that. So how would you describe your ideal customer?
I think my ideal customer has less to do with portfolio size and more to do with values and distribution strategy focus. So someone could be an operator of only 3 units, but they own and operate them. And what they care about is being a brand, owning their guest relationships, driving rebookings, maximizing revenue from the point of booking to the point of arrival, and also ensuring that the guests have a great experience while not having to throw a lot of extra time and effort into it. I think an operator can be any size and care about those things, but I think that the likelihood of who those customers are larger operators because from a life stage of a business growth perspective, I think the first things that people focus on is profitability. The second thing they focus on is operational excellence. And then the third thing they look to optimize is revenue maximization. And I think a lot of smaller operators are still focusing on profitability and operations, and getting to revenue maximization is kind of a first world problem. And so I think a later life stage business is probably in the position of having the luxury to focus on revenue maximization. And so that's why I'm going to guess they're a little bit larger.
Yeah, that's it's almost like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where you've got like, I need food and water and shelter, and then eventually I'll get into the self-awareness and
Enlightenment. We're working on enlightenment over here.
yeah, no, that sounds about right. So it doesn't really matter so much as like the number of properties or the location or things like that. It's going to be, like you said, more of a focus on like where are your values or your stage of kind of evolution of being able to put one foot in front of the other.
And I think it relates to the business strategy too. So I'll just use some examples of businesses out there, right? Like Lego is a business that does very well, has very strong brand recognition, does a great job of selling emotionally, but also licenses and does like and owns their distribution from a direct to consumer perspective and retail, right? So they're a brand. But then you might look at a company like Crest, which is a not toilet, a toothpaste brand, right? They are really a product that is distributed through retailers. And so they're at the mercy of their distribution channels. No one goes to crest.com to buy toothpaste because when you go to the store, it's something you pick up as part of your additional trip. And so I think about that very much being aligned to the experience of shopping and experiencing a vacation. Are people looking for an experience? Are they looking to engage with a brand? And then what is the business's strategy? Are they trying to be part of the trip and they're sort of white labeled, not known to the customer? Airbnb is great for that because there's no work that needs to happen on the marketing side. But if an operator wants to be sort of in more control of their business and wants to have the ability to, have repeat customers, maybe maximize revenue through touch points and engagement, that to me is a brand. And so I think fundamentally the first question is, does the operator have a strategy to be a brand? And if they have a strategy to be a brand, they have a brand name, they have a direct booking website, they think about the touch points beyond the ones that are owned by a distribution channel. That to me is sort of foundationally, like from a business strategy, one of the first things. And once they decide to be a brand, then they decide what people, systems, and processes enable them to operate like a brand. And that's where Lasso comes in, is it's enabling that.
Perfect. So is there a prerequisite to working with Lasso? Do I need to have a PMS? Do I need to have a website?
So in our current product state, we only work with customers that have direct booking websites and PMS integrations. However, we are launching a new product very shortly here where it's just a house manual. You don't have to have a direct booking website. You don't have to have a PMS. And that house manual can be something that stands alone. Because I think the house manual is the first touch point in thinking about the guest experience. And so just giving guests that house manual is something we're going to offer without all of the other sort of bells and whistles. So I think that we're kind of thinking about things in a split way, which is if someone's ready to dive fully in and have the full infrastructure around that, we offer that. But if they're also earlier in their journey and they're just focusing a little bit on the experience, but not ready to go full in on being a brand or diversifying distribution channels, the house manual is a nice starting point.
Okay. So can you think of an example or a situation where a brand was really happy with you?
We have a guide feature that is AI generated, and that has been incredibly helpful because everyone wants to improve their guest experience, but it usually comes at the trade-off of time. And
Mhm.
so the way our AI guide works is we have a survey that goes out to every guest that we have information for, which part of what we do is gather information for everyone in the stay, not just the person who books. We ask them a couple of questions around what they care about. And we then, through the recommendation set that we have, curated by the host, our AI engine builds a curated recommendation that is curated by the host and personalized to the guest. So imagine if every single one of your guests could have a personalized guide experience without you having to do work. You just review it and approve it because you want to make sure the AI is supervised. That's exactly what our customers are super excited about right now because they're able to like level up the experience without committing time. And usually those two things are in direct contradiction with each other.
That's amazing. So you basically just have to get the guest to answer one question.
Their email address, if it's a special occasion, and then the third question is, why are you coming and how can we help make your stay great? And people are really interesting in their responses. Some people are very much focus on their personal journey. So for example, we've seen things like I've got celiac. I really want to make sure there's places that everyone else can eat and I want to recommend restaurants, but I don't want to impose on the group. Could you help me find some restaurants that have great gluten-free options so that I can recommend them to the trip, right? So that's a very personalized approach to one person. And then we've had other instances where it's, one person asking on behalf of the family because they're thinking on behalf of organizing everyone together. So we've seen a lot of different use cases, and that's what's really interesting about it. And I think what's really cool is also the information that you learn about who they are is pulled in and it's stored in our environment that enables operators to know who they're a little bit about their guests. That opens up the dialogue without having to put in the work of getting to know everyone up front.
That's amazing. So that information stays attached to that contact.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The
Okay.
philosophy is know your guests and drive more revenue.
No, I think that sounds great. And I'm wondering if anybody hears this and they want to talk to you, like what's kind of the best like foot in the door, like get to know you? What would be the next step if somebody hears this and says, I want more information?
They can absolutely reach out to me via LinkedIn. My name is spelled as it is, and it's unique enough that nobody else has my name on LinkedIn. And also, you can directly book a demo through the Lasso website. I also would encourage folks to not even reach out because they want to know more about the product. Like I'd love to listen and learn to pain points too, because I like to be incredibly customer centric in how I think about solving problems for the industry. My background's in marketing in other industries, and there's obviously nuances to this industry that I'm still learning by engaging with customers. And so even if you don't want to learn about the software, if you have pains that you want to share around your experience with marketing, those are great insights for me to learn about how to think about evolving the technology to solve pain.
You heard it, free therapy session with Orly. Just voice your concerns and problems. And I will say, like, you are so good at asking questions. Every time I talk with you, I feel like, wow, she's really sharp. Like, your ability to like listen and ask questions, I highly respect it as a peer. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for chatting with me whenever we can. Hopefully to see you at the next conference. But thanks again so much for chatting today.
Rebecca, thanks for having me. And I very much have appreciated listening to some of your opinions and pains as a respected marketer in the industry because you are someone that I know is going to be very much a part of this journey.
We're excited. Cheers, everyone.